Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater, and welcome to today's episode of Her Success Story. So exciting things, it's finally spring. So I have to tell you, the Northeast where I live, we've had a really full winter. Not a tough winter, but a real old-fashioned winter with a lot of snow, cold weather, some winds, some trees down. Just, what we remember winter to be from years ago. I think we've been very fortunate in the last bunch of years having mild winters. So I was really excited, honestly, to bring spring into the world. I get excited about my gardening. For those of you who follow me, I always have a ton of gardening stories and gardening pictures on, everywhere from, LinkedIn to Instagram to Facebook. Everything for me is about growth and opportunity. So I was walking through my gardens just this past weekend and seeing, what needs to be cleaned out. What do we have anything starting to sprout? Any little daffodils starting to peek through as the first flowers of the year? And I started thinking about that along the lines of business. And where are these correlations? So where is business going to sprout out? And what needs to be cleaned away? So then I got to thinking, wow, we're almost at the end of the first quarter of 2021. Time's flying while we're having fun. So at the end of the first quarter, here are some of the things that I do to be proactive in running my business. First, I take a look and see, how did Slater Success do, my company, in the first quarter of the year? I look at financially how we're doing. I look at the relationships we're building and how we did. Any places I've spoken and how that landed. Other relationships, and is it time that I touch base again? Are there things I did not follow up on that I said I would? Are there things that have been working and I want to give credit to and then expand on? How are those actions and relationships back involved with what I'm looking to achieve in 2021's goals? The first quarter is a piece of the action of the entire year. So what does that look like? And how do we accomplish it? So as I move into what is working, I want to create more action steps for that in quarter two, which comes around April 1st, which is, oh my goodness, a blink of an eye, just a few days away. And then what is not working? What did I want to clean out of the garden? What, that flower wasn't so pretty, or that kind of just was weeds on weeds on weeds. Let's get rid of it. Well, I take a look at my business and what do I want to eliminate? What has not been working for me the first quarter? Maybe someplace I spoke that I really didn't feel the audience was my ideal clients. Or maybe some follow-up calls or networkings that really didn't work for me. On the other hand, what did work and how is that working? So what do I want to take forward? What I just mentioned there. Create a great tip here is to create a list of two sides of a paper. Take that good old-fashioned piece of paper, fold it in half and say things to continue, things to eliminate. On the left, on things to continue, what's working in my business? What do I want to continue? And I sit and I do a brainstorm and I think about the things from the first quarter. I think about the things that have worked previously. On the other side of the paper, I say, what do I want to improve? Where are the areas to improve for me? And then when I look at the areas to improve and I review those, I identify the actions that I can take around that. And I calendar it forward. There is no reason to just create lists without creating the action plans that support it. So know that, create these lists. What do I want to improve? How am I going to take that action? Then take that next step and that next expansion and put that on your calendar. How am I going to make that happen? Then you can sit down, you can review it. You can start calendaring out what you want to do in the second quarter of 2021. Are there networking things you want to do? Follow-up calls you want to do? Speaking things you want to do? A little more work on LinkedIn. Do you want to get involved in Clubhouse? If you do, it's a great venue, but remember to put some time frames around it and don't let you get into time sucks on those social media fronts that you say you're going to commit 15 or 20 minutes to and you're in there for 90, right? Keep those boundaries strong. Lastly, after you review these lists and you create the action plans, be honest with yourself. Take a moment and look at what is not working. When you see, well, what does not serve you in business any longer, and eliminate it. Don't just keep trying to throw spaghetti at a wall that's disintegrating. Identify the things that are not working and you no longer are going to do and eliminate it and get those out of your calendar. Or take a 30-day hiatus from it and then review it again. If you're not comfortable just eliminating things, take a 30-day hiatus to see when you're taking action in all these other areas, if it's still valuable to take action in this area. I hope these tips have been helpful for you for joining in on this short episode of Her Success Story. I always like to hop in and do these short content episodes. If you have questions and comments, please leave that below. Let me know, most importantly, what you thought of today's episode, what your takeaways were, and what's the action you're going to do based on listening for these few minutes. What is the action you're going to take? It's in our actions that we achieve success. Till next time, when we come back with some more content and some more great interviews, thank you for joining me at Her Success Story.
Don't need your approval anymore, 'cause I've got mine.